Chris is involved in so many different things, and we're so grateful to have you here, Chris. Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys? Enjoying my week.
We're doing great. Great. Thanks. So today we want to talk a little bit about road racing world, what you've been up to, and also want to talk about the racing aspect of your involvement with Motor America. We want to talk about USMCA. We want to talk about all the stuff that you do. And as we were talking earlier, with respect to how much stuff you do, it's really amazing what you have on your plate. So let's start digging into one by one and allow you to kind of start off from whatever you feel comfortable with. But I think the majority of the audience today is interested in hearing what you have to say about road racing world for now, and take it from there.
Yeah, well, my family's been involved in journalism for forever, motorcycle journalism. My dad, he started in the 70s, I think 1973-ish, and then he's worked for Cycle World, Cycle News. He was the youngest ever editor-in-chief of Cycle News. And then started American Road Racing in the mid-'80s, and then left there, sold that to Terry Vance, and then left and started Road Racing World. So, and that's been the project since 1990 in the magazine, and what we've been doing in the publishing business, and how I got involved in that. Right, it was he was looking for a different perspective, and I was in high school at the time, and he wanted that younger perspective, and wanted the viewpoint from like a teenager, see what we can do for that type of audience. And so I think the first article I ever wrote was about going to we were at GNF in 1995 and riding Masahiro Iizuka's RS-125, the GNF with Moto Liberty. They had a big 125 team at the time. That was the first one. And then came up with the idea for the monthly column, shortly after that in 1996, and we got some support from Yamaha because I was going national racing, and so we got some support from Yamaha in terms of TZ125s and stuff like that. I did a monthly column, and some of it it's been interesting because we've been doing cleaning out one of the warehouses at Road Racing World and coming across a bunch of new issues or new old issues, right? So from those 90s, and I spent my teenage years and most of my adult, it's been chronicled in this magazine for the last 30 years or 25 years. But I got a hold of a couple of those early columns and read through them, and was like, oh man, I can't believe you printed that. So I got some hate mail early on. I used some colorful language in my column, but it was a raw and uncut version, and definitely growing up and figuring stuff out as a teenager and going through there, and then now it is what it is, and it's grown into what it is now. So
how did you handle that hate mail there? I know that Chris Ulrich, he can take some pretty strong control of things over there, but did that work out okay?
It was fine. Some of the stuff, yeah, good or bad, we ran the letters. I'm sure there's some arguments or whatever, but I mean,
I think you guys are far from that these days. And have you guys has Road Racing World always been out of Southern California?
Yeah, like Elsinore, California. So it's when he founded it, obviously it was in his house because he just everything exploded over there at American Road Racing, and now it's medically from that to
it's a dirt track mecca of the country there.
Yeah, I don't. I was 10 when we moved to Elsinore, so I'm not the details are foggy about how that went down. Probably got a bigger house for less money, so and there was a family of 4 of us, so 4 kids, and so it was it made good sense. But then having left, I like this place actually. People bag on me a little bit for living in Elsinore, but I like that. It's got good cycling around here. The weather's pretty good most of the year, and I travel enough places that I don't like that I like to come back to Elsinore.
It's really amazing what you guys do for the motorcycle industry in general. I think John Orange also, he was in the Hall of Fame in 2017. Yeah. Do you want to just maybe highlight that? I mean, what you guys do for the industry in general, and the respect that I don't think there's enough that we can do to kind of really show our appreciation of everything that you support and what you do for the industry.
Well, you know, well, my father, for one, he's a massive enthusiast, right? He loves motorcycles, loves motorcycling, and he's also he's not afraid to take up a cause, you know, that he knows is right. And so he's always been a big proponent of motorcycle road racing safety. A big belief, right, is why should a mistake, you know, a small mistake end up with big consequences, right? Obviously that can happen, you know, but that is why we wear helmets and leathers and boots and gloves and all that safety gear. And so, I think from, you know, I might have my timeline a little messed up. So, but in the mid 80s or early 80s, he started, he tells the story quite a bit better than I do. So, but he started the John Woo Memorial Foundation, which is for a rider, you know, named John Woo, who got Honda Factory Racing held a big tryout at Laguna Seca in the mid 80s, and a bunch of racers showed up there to try out, and John Woo showed up there and ended up crashing and hitting the. At the time, there was a sheared face on the outside of him, turned to it at Laguna Seca, and he hit that and died. And so, you know, from that point, right, he was trying to, and plus, like from the founding of our race team, the original partner, Bruce Hammer, which is where Team Hammer gets their name. He in 1982, he went into a unprotected Armco barrier and turned himself into paraplegic at Road America. And so the safety aspect has always been on his mind, and the activism, you know, part I think is just in his DNA, because he's not a guy that takes much from anybody, and so he knew it was right. It was the right cause, and so he started that. And I don't know how much traction we got. I still find those stickers around, and they did a few things. I kind of get the story every once in a while. I really need to sit them down and do a podcast, or get them to write a book or something. But that type of activism and not taking any shit from anybody led to where we are today with the Road Racing World Action Fund. And that was started in 2001. And that was basically, we always fought for rider safety and to improve conditions for motorcycle racers. And there was quite a difficult attitude from promoters and racetracks about rider safety. And so instead of just taking the whole, you know, the regular answer, at the time it was from AMA Pros that was in Ohio, and the people running it at the time, the guys running it now are much better. But you know, said they didn't need air fence, and so he decided to you know, or didn't need air fence, couldn't get it, and so he decided to just take it into his own hands and start the Road Racing World Action Fund, which is, you know, more or less probably going to be his biggest legacy for the you know, in the industry. And that was,
how much have we raised right now so far for the fundraiser for the air fencing and the safety?
We raised enough to cover Fontana and then start covering other tracks. So
Absolutely,
that's from our activity at Fontana. That's the stuff that you and David Piles helped with me. Like, so we did the 2-seater event, but you know, the starting of the Action Fund was basically you know, hey, look, dude, you put an editorial up on roadracingworld.com and said, I'm putting up my own money. Who's with me? So he bought a section. At the time, that stuff cost $1,500 for an inflatable. And then all of a sudden we had OEs involved and individuals. And by within 3 weeks, we had 20 sections or 25 sections delivered to Road Atlanta. And a few weeks later, we had more sections delivered to another track. And that started off a big wave and a big change in attitude in motorcycle road racing safety. So that's, you know, my role in that is I started doing, you know, to raise some money. Actually, it started in 2006 when my friend Vincent Haskovic got hurt at Sonoma. In 2005, excuse me, Vincent Haskovic got hurt in Sonoma. And he was riding for my father's team, and he lived in Elsinore, so we were riding bicycles together, and he was a good friend of mine. And he got hurt, and I was trying to raise some money for him, and I made it a dual purpose for the Action Fund in Vincent. And so with Fast Track Riders help with David Piles at the time, he allowed me to do it. And then I proved that I wasn't just doing it to screw around to David, and it became an event. And you know, every year in the early days, David was actually kind enough to match funds. So we raised the money he'd match whatever we raised, and we go out and buy more air fence for Fontana, and then that caught on and grew. So it's a big roundabout area, roundabout story to get to how everything went down. But
absolutely. How many 2-up rides have you done? Do you have a rough number in your mind? Like how many of those have you done? Because that's super exciting, and I think a lot of people know you more for the 2-up rides than anything else.
Yeah, it's probably my legacy in that would be, besides the racing stuff, would be probably more known for 2-seater rides than my own racing. But
which is crazy. I mean,
yeah,
it's all good.
Anytime a racer, like a club racer, gets on the back seat, just to see what it's all about, I think I can see it in Chris's face. He says, "Oh, this guy's a racer. Oh, I'm going to show him," because he really pins that gun. And I remember, I remember one quote from, I think it was actually Kevin Schwantz, that you took Kevin Schwantz out for a spin because he wanted to just go have some fun. And he turned around at the very end. He said, "Yeah, I think, John Ulrich helped start my career, and Chris Ulrich almost ended it."
I got a little lit up with him on the back. That was 2007. That was a fun ride. But I think to date, so I only do them. My involvement in that, right? I started my first 2C ride was like Laguna Seca 2003. My teammate was Steve Rapp. I was riding for the Valvoline Suzuki team, and Rapp crashed and hurt his shoulder. So they walk over to me and like, "Hey, Chris, we have passengers. Rapp's hurt. You have to do 2-seaters, like cold turkey. Like, here you go. Have fun." And I did that, and then I took the program over in 2004, and I enjoyed it. And then we primarily focused on media, and then we started doing the rides for the Action Fund too, and that really grew the numbers. And then 2016, when I stopped racing full time, gave us the opportunity to launch a program with Moto America to give rides to series VIPs, media, and regular old fans. So a fan can show up at a Moto America race, make a donation to the Action Fund. It covers their ticket, and the proceeds go to the Action Fund. So it's a pretty unique program. It went from media VIPs only on Thursday or before the weekend, and now it runs all 3 days of the Moto America race.
Is it like 1,000? You would say 1,000 maybe, just for those who
500.
500, okay.
500
at least
for
500
2 laps.
No, I'm saying
rides.
How many have you done? Yes.
Well, we actually count the waivers every year. So I should know this, but I haven't.
It's
just a rough number. It's 1,000, right? Like,
no, it's like coming up on 1,500. But that was like the limited. We do, 2 or 3 media guys every weekend. So it's not like I'm at a school where I'm running them all day. I'm sure there's guys that have done plenty more. But
I'll never forget my 2-up ride with you, Chris.
Yeah, anyone, even for a racer, I think, a racer can go, fast when he's on his own, and maybe, when he's on the back seat with you, you might not be able to go as fast, but it's to the point where it's really scary for the racer, even that's in the back seat. It's really scary. I'm telling you, I was there. I could do a comparable lap. I could go a little bit faster even, but when I'm on the back seat, it was a completely different story. It was scary. It really was, but it was fun, man. It was really fun.
It is. It's like it's kind of interesting because last year I was doing a USMCA event actually 2018. I was doing a USMCA event at New Jersey Motorsports Park, and I hadn't been on the back of a bike with anybody for a while. I think the previous time was with Scott Russell at Utah in 2011. So, and it's every once in a while you need like a reminder of, hey, what are you doing to these people? What's it like? And so I hopped on the back with Kyle Wyman, and we were on FC1, and he was going pretty good. And it was like first 10 feet, I was like, oh man, what have I gotten myself into? And then I just remembered all the stuff that I tell people when they get on the bike. Okay, relax, breathe, give them his room to go. And then, the ride ended up actually being pretty thrilling, pretty exhilarating ride. And I was pretty pumped up after that. It was, I was surprised by my reaction, but I shouldn't have been, because so many passengers get off feeling the same thing. But it was like, okay, good. I got a taste of my medicine. I remember what this is like. We're good to go now. Still,
that's awesome.
I kind of want to go see if I can find the opportunity to go up Randy Memorial sometime in a GP or maybe hop on the back with Pridmore, you know, just to see what it's like, get it, you know, and
To be
it's
the
always
other
good.
guy.
Yeah, always good to be the other guy, and
Be the other
maybe I
guy for a
can,
change.
you know, maybe I can learn something to improve mine, or
You know,
just reinforce the fact that I'm doing a good job.
you know, you guys at Road Racing World, you've been involved with so many things, and it's like you said, you know, your dad does so many initiatives. And I remember a few years back, I don't know, what has it been, 5 years? Time flies. There was the Superbike shootout, and the purpose behind that, if I understood correctly back then, there was a little bit of a gap with the AMA program. You know, there weren't a lot of venues going on, and there was like a 2-3 month gap or something. And the intent behind it, you know, was to just get the racers out and be able to do their thing and get the spectators to watch and have fun. You know, did that thing pay off in any way to road race? I know for the fans it paid off, but to you guys, I'll bet it was a lot of work.
It was actually, I think the race team did the promotion on that, and obviously in tandem with the magazine. But yeah, you know what it did for us? It saved road racing in the United States, because at the end of that, what happened was racetracks didn't want to sign up with DMG at the time, who was running road racing, and it more or less opened the door for Moto America to take over. So we're proud of that. That project, man, was really hard. It was. I remember me and my dad are sitting on a plane, and we're going back east to go to the shop. And like with most of our business stuff we do, it's like we sit there and we're talking on the plane because we got time. And it's like, dude, you know what? I want to do my own series. Like, when we started talking about it, okay, great. Well, I know these guys over here at MAF TV. I'm gonna, you know, I'll get us in for a meeting. So, and then, you know, we knew we knew Ahmad, we knew David Piles, we knew the AFM guys, and all of a sudden it was like, we knew the guys at Utah, and we launched that, you know, on a flight to Nashville, Tennessee, and came up with the idea. And I think a week later, we're sitting in the office with the president of MAV TV at the time. Was like, knew nothing about TV production, knew nothing about most of this stuff. And 3 months later, we had a 3-race series that ran. 3-race series. We ran 2 races each, and we created 6 TV shows that were then aired 18 times to start, and then multiple, you know, beyond that, multiple re-airs, and it paid prize money. That was a big thing. We actually got it, so we did it in 90 days. From start to the first race, it was 90 days, and then we executed that in the next like 5 weeks. And it was like, okay, look, you know, and
right.
Why operate in a race team, a multiple bike race team, multiple semi-truck race team, actually, and a magazine, and doing all of our regular daily stuff. And so it was a big effort. My younger sister Natalie was involved, my mom obviously, and had good faith from the industry too, to help. I mean, Geico Motorcycle was involved, and Yamaha, Arai, and so many. Forgive me if I forget the companies. The DynoJet, Race Fuels, all these companies came and like, look, okay, we get what you're trying to do. We see it, and we're going to help. And we did it. Factory Yamaha showed up, KTM showed up, Yoshimura showed up. We showed up. You know, a bunch of private guys, Aussie Dave, and it was a great, man. It was darn entertaining racing. It was pretty big lesson, you know, in terms of what we can do and make stuff happen. And, you know, bundled it up and aired it. And actually, it was the only professional motorcycle road racing aired on television that year. Aired on MAV TV.
And
that
you
was
know,
awesome. Yeah.
Speaking about airing on TV, I raced at the club level race that same weekend, and I got my like 5 seconds of airtime racing, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that we had each club that we partnered with. We're AFM and Utah SBA Utah, and they all got a feature, you know, for helping us out, and
awesome.
You know, we made some.
I think they used a clip of me during practice or something while I was going through a turn, which was kind of funny.
There you go.
But the real show was in the big race,
Turn 9,
Superbike race that you guys did.
Hey, they're still out there on TV. On
So,
Yeah, I actually got a screen capture of it just to show proof that was on TV.
they're on YouTube still.
So it just goes back to the same point, like really how much the entire Orange family is involved in the motorcycle industry and road racing and everything. So I can't, like I said, you guys do so much, and I hope everybody recognizes what you guys do for all of us. So can we maybe just go back to racing a little bit, and maybe Adamar is probably checking to see if there's anybody who is asking any questions.
Yeah.
But Adamar, do you want to go first, or should I just ask? I wanted to ask.
There was one quick question, one curiosity over here. What was your fastest 2-up ever? Because we have some riders here indicating
Montana?
that they were with you on a 26. What did?
No, I haven't done. I've done that? My fastest.
I mean, not
time,
a 26, a 36.
Oh, okay. So Dave Shaverty, right? Rest in peace. You know, former fast track manager, and I think we would go out for a hot lap annually, and he was, I don't know, he might have had screws or something, but done some 33s with Dave. I think Elena Myers was maybe a 33. But
so Elena Myers, she's small at that time. She was really young and super lightweight.
She was 12. I think I don't know what year that was, but like we went pretty quick with Shaverty. And I think in one year we usually run the 2-seater. It's got like a pretty good tune on it. But like one year I was like, hey man, I need a superbike engine for my guys. And so I was racing superbikes, so we had a spare superbike engine. So we did that. And that year we had a lot of really, really fast laps. It was a fun year. It's like 2012 or 13 UK Dunlops. You know, it was good. But on average, like quickest lap is like a 33, 32. And I should probably get a transponder on for this season's. But most laps are like 34s or 35s. It really depends on the passenger weight, passenger comfort, right? So we're not just going to go out there and go balls to the wall if the passenger's not comfortable. We want people to come away from the program like in either wanting to ride a motorcycle or wanting to come back and have that experience or just general education, right? There's, for sure you get those people that are gung-ho, we're going to go. But if they get on the back and I can feel that they're not comfortable, we're going to build the speed. But if you get on the back and like right away, their timing's good and everything else, man, we're going to rip. And so that's takes a little bit of experience and a lot of trust.
No, absolutely. Any other questions from the audience, Adamar? Anything?
No, everybody's saying that, you know, everybody gets passed by you, and you're on it. And then Nabil here, we all know Nabil. So Nabil says Chris goes 2-up on a 300 faster than most of us.
I don't know about that, but we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
No, it's fun, man. I get to share you go back to what my dad's done or what my family's done for it, right? Well, the industry has done, you know, allowed us support, you know, through either ad sales or sponsorships of the race team or whatever. They've allowed us to make a living in this place, right? Granted, you got to work hard and you got to make your name and do the right things. So it allows me to help share the sport of motorcycle road racing. I love motorcycle road racing. Obviously, I did it from the time I was 13, and I've been around it all my entire life, and I still love it. I'm 40 years old now, and I still love going. I mean, it's how I feed my kids and pay my mortgage, and so it's an honor for me to go out there and share it. Right? Normal people never rode a motorcycle. It's like they can come and do a 2-seat ride, and most of them are going to come off the thing going, man, wow, I got to either get my own bike or wow, I'm a fan. And then we've created more fans, or you got the educational piece for regular track day guys who can learn a couple things, maybe become a little safer or faster.
Well, yeah, you definitely share it. I mean, you have an article in a magazine. You got the 2-up. You're team owner. You coach.
USMTA.
And there's more stuff I'm missing. It's like, and you know, and kind of what brings up another question is, with relation to that, you know, you obviously have all those things that you offer. They're all jobs, you know. Do they feel like jobs? Is there one particular thing that you like the most, and also is there one that you maybe don't like so much? You know, does any of it feel like homework?
I'd say like it's all a job. Everything's a job, right? But some of the magazine stuff can get difficult, right? Because it's, granted, let's just say, for instance, this year, and I'm not complaining, dude. It was rad. Before when we could actually get on airplanes and go places, now that we can't. Had a big long flight, so we want to go test the Ducati Panigale V4S in Bahrain, which is rad. Okay. Flight was delayed out of LA, missed our connection in Dubai. Had to sit around an airport for a few hours. Finally got to Bahrain at like 4 a.m. But whatever, that happens. It's travel. Therefore, went to sleep, woke up the next day, traveled to the next place, and then woke up next day and rode, which it rained, but that's cool. Never went to sleep, hopped on a plane, flew all the way back to LAX. So I was there for, it's a 5-day trip, but whatever. I had to turn the story around. I basically landed, got some sleep, worked on that story for, a day and a half or 2 days or something like that, turned it around and got on another plane and went somewhere else. And so that stuff can be a little bit difficult, but at the end of the day, it's like, man, a lot of people would kill to actually go do that. They once they experience it, it might look like, they've seen the kitchen of their favorite restaurant, but it was a good experience. Story was good. Went to print, all good. That's difficult, right? You're jet lagged out of your brain. You don't have any time to really process things. You gotta slam that out, or you gotta slam it out on a plane. That's when it gets hard. But I mean, otherwise it's, you gotta work hard. You gotta create good content, and then make sure readers are happy and want to read your content and go down the road. Sometimes the column, it's all good.
All the chew up rides that you sometimes do in one day, that's pretty.
It's back to back, yeah, nonstop.
But still, it beats sitting at a desk.
Yeah.
It's physically demanding, right? And you have good passengers and you have absolutely horrible passengers. Horrible.
It's physically and mentally demanding too.
And mentally, you got to be on your game.
Yep.
What about running a team? Does that feel like a lot of work?
Yeah, that's all of it's quite a bit of work. The team is definitely sometimes more difficult because like race team management and race teams in general, right? You think about this, you put the most like gnarly personalities together in underneath a canopy attached to a 53-foot semi truck, and then you got to manage those personalities, whether it's the rider, the crew chief, the ECU guy, you name it, right? And you got to extract the best performance out of them too. So it's that's hard for sure. I've learned a lot about how to deal with people and how to approach stuff since I've took over the team. Even before that, right? You grow up in this industry being John Ulrich's kid too. It gives you a pretty unique perspective because granted, my dad had, being the guy that he is and the guy that doesn't take any shit, he's pissed a few people off along the way, whether riders or whatever. And so, at some point of my career, I've run into a few of these people. Thankfully, most of them have either figured out that they are wrong or left the industry by now. So it's cool. And you'd have to navigate that. And it allowed me to figure out how to get what I needed out of said individual that might have been pissed off at my dad for something that it was probably that guy's fault anyway. And my dad just called him on it. But figure out how I could get that done and go down the road. Some people have lost causes, but for the most part, I could get through and make that happen. That taught me a lot about this is how I got to approach this. And yeah, I can't approach the things the same as he did. Okay, let's see how this person acts. Let's see how this, and it turned out to be a pretty good life skill for me. Very, very, very thankful I have that skill.
Now that I think about it, I wish we would have invited John Orange also to join us on this call.
He's a riot. He's good. You get him going. It's going to be entertaining. Story time.
Well, you guys are busy guys. If you, if for one weekend for some reason you're extremely busy with other things and you got this this ride that you got to go test in Jerez in Spain or something, you know, I'm sure, give me a call or Imad. I'm sure we'd be willing
I
to
don't have a
help you out
problem. We'll clear
if
that
we haven't, you
calendar
know.
very quickly.
I know. That's the
Hey,
thing.
hey, so
I appreciate those things very much now. You know, and when I was racing in my younger years, it was like, oh, I got to go do this thing in Eastern Creek, and it was like 2005. 10 years later, I was back at Eastern Creek, and I was like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. So a little bit of perspective, it goes a long way.
absolutely. So maybe can we just maybe go back to the racing team for a little bit and kind of focus a little bit on that? Just tell us about your 2020 race. What do you give us some perspective on that? And I know, unfortunately, we haven't really ran a lot of races yet this year or any.
Yeah.
But just give us your perspective on what's coming up soon.
So it looks like a lot of lockdowns are getting lifted, and you know, we're all very hopeful that we're going to go racing here in a few weeks at Road America to start the season. And then, you know, hoping their plans for a second round are announced soon. So at least then we can talk about all the stuff in public. And yeah,
Are the bikes ready and the riders ready? They're all ready to go. Okay.
Yeah, they are. You know, it's a new project for us, right, this year. So like in October, we were asked to come down for a meeting. I got a phone call, and it was like, hey man, what kind of meeting is it going to be? You know, good one or bad one? You know, I'm not gonna, you know, save me. If it's going to be a bad meeting, then save me the trip. But you know, all seriously, we went to a meeting and we got summoned, and they asked us to take over all racing operations for Suzuki. And so that was a bit mind blowing, because I mean, family's had a race team for a long time, since 1980 when my father founded it with Bruce Hammer. And became an official supported Suzuki team in 1986. And that ran from 86 until 2012, the end of 2012. And we had to go do a project with Honda for a couple of years. And then the band got, you know, then everything got put back together in 2015 with some different management over there. Chugging along, 2019 was a pretty successful year. We, you know, Bobby Fong won the Twins Cup championship riding the Team Hammer built GSR 600, and Alex DeMoss won the Twins Cup. So it was a pretty good year. And, you know, stuff's kind of changing in the racing industry and racing business and the motorcycle industry. So stuff's got to, you know, getting moved around, and we got asked to do a project, and we accepted it. And so now we're the official Suzuki team for Moto America. And it's a big project, a lot of work, a different style of doing things for us. But
congratulations, really well deserved.
Yeah,
absolutely. So who's on your team this year, for those who don't know?
Tony Elias and Bobby Fong are going to race superbikes for us.
Okay.
Sean Dillon Kelly, Lucas Silva are going to race 600s, and then Alex DeMoss is stock 1000. So it's yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's you know, one thing about this, I note about this project, right? It's we've always structured the team and the program as a commercial business, and really worked hard to foster relationships with companies and selling sponsorships, so we weren't 100% reliant on OEM support to go racing. And that's, you know, from the early 80s, like I think 1982, you know, they signed a sponsorship deal with Chevron, or they brought Chevron into the motorcycle road racing business, and funded the program, you know, and so that was always the model: go find, you know, seek out sponsorship, do the deal, deliver on the deal, and keep them happy. And we've been able to do that with multiple companies through the years. And it was a Valve-winning team for 14 seasons from 1990 to 2004. And then after that, M4 Performance Exhaust took over title sponsorship in 2005, and they're still title sponsor now. So that's that relationship started in 1999, and you know, now it's going on 2020, and so that's 20 years. Yeah, 20 years, 21 years. In the interim, we had Geico Motorcycle, and that was a 7-year relationship. And so, you know, those relationships count and they matter, and they'll always, you know, we've always delivered for them. You know, some companies come and go as their marketing needs change, but We've always found a way to figure it out, go racing, track companies, get that and make that happen.
So last year you guys took the 600 championship with Bobby Fong. You guys got first place on that. So congratulations to you guys, your team, and Bobby. And speaking of, on that topic of having a championship winning team, or a team that goes out and wins Moto America races, let's say you got a guy, I don't know, maybe an Imad Samhat over there that maybe he's got some money in his pocket. He wants to put together a team and go win some Moto America races, not just participate in them. Can he just, if he could afford, like, let's say maybe the top guy, whoever that is in our current series, and maybe the top mechanic, if we could identify whoever that might be. I'm sure a lot of the guys are all top mechanics, many of them for sure. If you were to pick the top two in both of those categories, could he go win Moto America races, or is it, or I don't know, maybe not the Superbike class, but what about the Super Sport, or
I gotta watch my mouth, get myself in trouble. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure you could, maybe if it wasn't a mod riding, but all respect to mod. Went and got a top rider and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm sure if you bought the bikes from a well-known builder and you had some competent guys, you can come in and win. Can you win consistently? Maybe. A lot of guys, racing's such a unique sport. It's like, you see guys that have quite a bit of money come in, they invest in a bunch of infrastructure. They don't listen to anybody. They're going to revolutionize racing. 3 years later, they're gone. They spent a bunch of money, got sick of the project, didn't win. And it's because they, there's
reality.
There's experience and reality, for sure, racing is an art, and like the mechanic side's an art, and the management side's an art, the budget side's an art. It's all. Yep. The big thing too is, like, it's not a sure thing. Racing, like, dude, if it was a sure thing, then we go, okay, great. Tony Elias is going to win the Superbike Championship. Screw it, cancel the season. We're done. Give me the number one plate. No, it's like
things happen.
That's not what it's about.
That's why you go racing, and that's why it's exciting. There's no guarantee that could, come to November or something, if we get Dakota this year, and it could be a knockout, knockdown, drag out race between Cam Beaubier and Tony Elias, or it could be between Gagne and Tony Elias, or Heron or Fong or whoever, right? And we don't know that until we get there. It's not a foregone conclusion. You got the human factor and all that. You got the equipment factor. Modern day equipment's really quite reliable.
You get some luck as well. Yep.
Yeah. Luck, like, dude, that Super Sport Championship, I had no idea how that was going to go down until Bobby Fong.
I saw it.
Yeah, you guys put in the work. Yeah, you guys put in the work, and then it all worked out. So that's awesome. It's really well deserved.
Racing's never a foregone conclusion.
It seems like in that 600 class, everybody had to be at 100% at all the time, and then just shuffle the deck. Yeah. And it's just, yeah.
Oh, dude.
But if you weren't at the 100% of your game, you're not even on the deck anymore.
Yeah. Fong proved that he could be, like, a little bit off and pull it off, but, like, for sure, like that ride he had at Pittsburgh. I was in the medical tent in the morning. I knew what everything looked like in the afternoon, and then I was in the medical tent the next morning, working with him, and the doctor's going, "Okay, guys, how's this going to work out today?" And it wasn't a good deal. And then all of a sudden, the green flag dropped, or the lights went out, and the racer took over, and then the dude's at the front. So that's actually, you touch on that, the racing and the human part about racing, right? You have guys that are, like, super special on a motorcycle. It doesn't matter if the chips are down or whatever, right? Could have a bad cue, could have a bad warm-up, big crash and warm-up, or whatever. The guys that are really gnarly, like the Cameron Beaubiers and the Eliases and the Bobby Fongs, and throw Heron in there, Gagne, Josh Hayes, back in the day, like Zemke and Boston, those guys, like, those are racers. And when the lights go out, it's like, go in front. See you later. I don't care what's going on right now. I'm going to the front, and you're not going to stop me. Screw you. Bye. And you know, it's full respect to that. Like Martin Cardenas was a guy like that, dude. No matter what was going on, he would figure out a way to go to the front and didn't care. DeBeast was good like that too.
You know, Cardenas, speaking of him, I haven't heard anything about him. Is he racing back home or anything like that? Do we know?
Oh, he's flying airplanes.
Oh, right on.
He's flying freight. He's back in Colombia flying freight. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's flying something different now. But he always kind of had a hobby of airline stuff. He had a collarbone injury, and they put the plate in. And when they put the plate in on one of them, they bent his collarbone down to the point where he's touching his subclavian artery, and it was causing him some problems. So I don't know if he got that fixed or whatever. But I mean, he did rode for us until 2012, and then went to Yoshimura for 2 seasons, super sport racing, and then went back there. I haven't heard from him in a couple of years, but last time we talked, we were talking about collarbones and whether or not you needed them.
Hey, Adamar, how are we doing on questions? Is there any questions other than there was one question about the umbrella girl, but I think we could table that for now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you were you, I mean, you were ready for the season until the whole COVID thing hit. Were you like 100% ready? I mean, to the point where you even had the umbrella girls lined up, or was it still work in progress for the team?
No, whatever. Umbrella girls.
I mean, that's just the way it's saying.
They make the riders happy, but it's not a necessary thing for operations.
Yeah.
So depends if your sponsor wants them. Depends if your sponsor likes them. Like
I think they make the viewers happy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually worked with a company that did not want umbrella girls, and they had very specific language that was like, okay, look, they have to be like this style of clothing, this, or it had to be their mascot. And it was like,
I think Formula One resorted to that.
Yeah, it depends on the image you want for your company, but
and we could probably
actually it was a family member of the mascot, and they had to be dressed in wholesome apparel.
Yeah, okay. Let's not go that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's just my data acquisition guy. Ugly.
Any other questions, Adamar, on coming in?
No, we got some good involvement here. No, I don't think we got. I think I kind of threw the questions in there as we were talking from the audience, so we're good.
We can talk a little bit about USMCA. So we're in the presence of the first ever.
Yeah,
the first ever USMCA, United States Motorcycle Coaching Association coach to be certified, and that's Adamar Munoz. Thank you, Adamar, for supporting the.
I'm happy
to say that yes, you did hear that, Adamar.
I didn't even know that. That was awesome.
the first ever sport bike coach. Excuse me.
Sport bike coach.
Amick might have been P1.
Oh man, made my day.
First ever sport bike coach.
And also, all our staff on Fast Track Riders right now are USMCA certified. So
yeah, Aaron Asher, Terry Hurd,
Mookie. Yep.
And Louis.
And Louis.
And Louis, the whole gang.
They're all certified now. So
yeah, and that's actually the other job, because I had a list of like 5 jobs that you do, and I know that you're a big involved.
Yeah, the United States Motorcycle Coaching Association. So we got invited to a meeting with John Eric Burleson by John Eric Burleson, who used to be president of KTM North America and retired since, and has gone off on the private, to do some consulting and other stuff. But he, Jeff Emmig, Mark Blackwell, and John Eric were, there's a big void for certified coaching and raising the level of coaching in the U.S. And so they decided to do something about it. And so a lot of it was mostly dirt related, because that was their background. And so they decided to call some sport bike guys, and that's how I got involved. And I went to the first meeting just on just to see what was going on, and I never left. And then they liked me on the board, and since then, it's been a lot of work. It's all volunteer work, which is great. Develop the curriculum for the test, right? Develop the workshop and all that, and then get people to buy into it. Not by buy into the concept, not buy into it and get certified. And so, like Ahmad, you're an early adopter, Adamar, and then
I just did not pass the background check. That's all.
We managed to get the Yamaha champ school involved, and those guys have come on board, and they have their own certification process. So we accept that too. And then most of the staff, I think, or all the staff at the Superbike school become certified. But it was like that from the first day I stepped in there to the now, right? It's been about 4 years or 3.5 years. It's been a process, a lot of talking to people and running stuff and making it happen. But we've gotten some good traction on it. And the whole goal is to grow the sport through creating a network of coaches, and then raise the level of everybody. And so like coaching is a big part of the fast track riders.
Development, yeah.
It's development, but it's also I'm missing the word here. I should know this. I'm a journalist, right? It's
yeah,
culture.
I think
It's a big part of your guys' culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you've seen a change in your crash rates, and you've seen your change in your retention rates and all that stuff through education.
And the level of the riders, the way we see them now, you can't even recognize the riders that you see. It's amazing, and it's really, really rewarding. So,
and coaching can unlock that, right?
Absolutely.
We just had that at the last quarantine. We're talking about stuff that's helped us through our career. Like I said, even now, whether it's in riding a motorcycle, in general life, right, or business life or whatever, like you always got to be open for some input, because you can't just live in a bubble, and you can't just ride your motorcycle in a bubble. You got to try to keep improving yourself and doing stuff. And so I try, that's where the coaching comes in, and that's a big advantage.
Yeah, I always think of it like those who are in the game are blind to the game, and that's why you need that external view of yourself via a coach to be able to kind of take you to the next level. It's always been the case, and the results speak for themselves. I mean, a lot of riders, they were either getting hurt and stopped coming to the track, or they just couldn't really see how they can improve and go faster without risking it all. And with proper coaching, it opens up new doors that they never even thought existed. So thank you.
For sure. It's so vital for our sport to continue to grow. And it's vital actually on the street side too, like proper training, because you can go to a dealership and just buy a bike and just go out there, and maybe you got to take your MSF course, or you got to take a total control course, which total control course I think is pretty good. But both do their part, right? It's get your certification, right? But you need a step beyond your basic licensing part, right? And so, we're not there yet on that, but as far as the closed course on circuit, we're almost.
Yeah, almost there. Yes.
Circuit on the racetrack stuff, right? The USMCA coaches are doing good things, and I appreciate you bringing us in and having all your guys sort that out, and it's just going to raise the level of everybody. Like, man. Think about too that while we're talking coaching, right? The cool stuff that's come out of the academy, and I was just out riding with Daniel Moore and Greg Arnold this weekend, who were part of my 2016 class, and we took both those guys from 42s to 32s at Fontana, which is like 10 seconds. No crap, like the next time, like Greg had, or Greg. I'm not going to call you out, buddy, but first day of the first session, he goes out, and we haven't even gotten done with the warm-up, and he threw the thing down in turn one. And then after that, it was like, okay, step back, go, and then improve him to the point where it was like, I think the next time he actually crashed, he called me up and we talked about it. It was quite a bit, 6 months or 7 months later, and quite a bit. And he was like, what'd you do, Greg? And he's like, well, I got on the gas and the thing was leaned over like this, and it did this, and this. I'm like, oh, good job, dude. Because the first time I talked to you, you couldn't even tell me that. So that's a big thing. You're kind of self-aware of what's going on. But like, I kind of got off on a side note, but whether it was like Louis Jutras, he's went from being a student, started last year the super stock race at Laguna Seca, and now he's a certified coach. And so not only you've taken guys that were pretty okay, mid-level, level 3 guys, and put them into professional racing. Then you also got like the group that say like I had, and I think Eric had this year, that were 2 or 3 of my guys were like the second track day ever when I got a hold of them. And it was, by the end of that, right, they made some great improvements and all that. And that's just something that what coaching can do for you. They're safer, they're not throwing bikes down the road. They're enjoying their day a lot more. They're getting a little bit more out of riding a motorcycle. And that's big thing, is to do that, to take it, whether I'm coaching them, you're coaching them, the guy on the street is.
On that topic of coaching, if I could just throw one last question from the audience. How can they get in touch with you if you can do one-on-one training with them at the racetrack?
For fast track riders, just talk to Ahmad. If not, you can ping me on my Facebook or social media, or look me up at the magazine. The program at Fast Track Scott's pretty darn good. It's good. It's easy. I roll up, we go coaching. Go on.
Absolutely. Well, we're thrilled to have you, Chris, and I hear the dishes in the background. I think that's dinner calling you. So
maybe
we don't want to keep you much longer. We always we can go on and on forever with you, and we really appreciate everything you do, and we're honored to have you. So I can't wait to ride with you and see you the next time. And it's just been crazy, So hopefully it's sooner than we think.
Hopefully. It's been good. I actually got to ride this weekend on a couple magazine bikes, and it was like, oh man, I've been missing that. So
that's great. That's great. And for those who don't know, not registered for Road Racing World, what's the best way to get subscriptions, or maybe something that, what's your recommendation? Because you have your online, you have everything, but what do you think? Oh, there you go.
You go here, roadracingworld.com. And then you can find a few of our issues here. It's this is the track day directory right here that I'm hovering over, and it's our annual special issue, and it tells you if you're new to track days or you've been doing a few of them right. It tells you how to get from the everything from how to load your motorcycle to what you need for a track day and what to look out for. And even if you're like a very experienced track day rider, it's always good to kind of have that. It's got some great help and great handy tips. And then, of course, we got all the other good stuff for April 2020, the Super Duke R and the Panigale before that trip I was talking about, the Bahrain and the rain. Just visit roadracingworld.com and click on the magazine, find issue.
And subscribe.
And by the way, if you're local to Southern California, and we have, they got the Long Beach motorcycle show, Road Racing World is there every year, and I think your sister Natalie is there subscribing people, and I like going up over there, just visiting her booth just to say hello and also to subscribe. There's like an awesome discount if you subscribe over there.
Yeah.
So
but don't wait till then. Now, just subscribe now.
Well, I'm going to say wait.
Website for breaking news too. So
I'm going to say wait. I'm going to say because over there you get to visit with the family and say hello to the Ulrich family.
It's always good. I like that. I get some grief. I bring my wife and kids there, and they're like, "Oh, Daddy's going to talk too much to everybody." It's like, dude, usually we're all riding, and we don't get to sit around and talk. When you go there, and you talk to everybody, and see people you haven't seen forever. And so it's I love going to those trade shows. It's pretty fun.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I tell people, okay, we'll talk at the track, and then we barely ever see it, and it's not going to happen. So it's like, I'm not going to make that commitment ever again.
It's a job.
We'll talk after the track.
It's all good.
It's all good. Well,
I can't wait. I can't wait. Like, hopefully we get to go racing here, and then, soon we get to go racing with some fans, get to see a bunch of motorcycle people at the racetrack and riding motorcycles and doing motorcycle things. So I'm looking forward to it.
We all are. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Any other questions, Adamar, before we go, or anything from you, Chris, that you want to share before we?
I think I got more questions than I anticipated, so I really appreciate that. Thank you for your time, Chris.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Chris. We'll be in touch. Thanks.
Peace.